Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
I had a bunch of people send me this story, which is just one of those entertaining stories. So from Fox 35, the digital staff there, stories out of Orlando. 104 mile per hour super speeder arrested minutes after new Florida law went into effect. So Florida passed a new law about things that can happen to you if you are speeding way too fast. And the law went into effect at midnight on a particular day, and they actually got somebody 2 minutes later. Driver clocked at 104 miles per hour, became the first person arrested under Florida's new super speeder law, which allows troopers to jail motorists traveling more than 100 miles per hour or 50 over the speed limit. So just 2 minutes after the new law went into effect at 12:01 on July 1st, a driver was clocked at 104 in Orange County, making them the first person arrested under the new statute. The new law targets drivers going over 100 miles per hour or 50 above the posted speed limit, allowing for immediate jail time and steep fines. Now, the Florida Highway Patrol says the individual here was stopped in a 70 mile per hour zone. So doing 104 in a 70, it's not 50 over, but it's over 100. So authorities have not released the name of the driver or the specific circumstances of the stop, and it remains unclear whether any other arrests have followed other than this one pioneering case. The super speeder law was passed as part of Florida's broader traffic safety push recently, designed to reduce extreme speeding and prevent fatal crashes. The law now treats high-speed violations with stricter penalties, up to 30 days in jail and a $500 fine for first-time offenders. Second-time violators are getting up to 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. And that actually falls in line with what most states have as reckless driving. And there are many states that say so much over the speed limit is reckless driving. So there's nothing really that crazy here. The interesting thing about the story is the fact that the law was on the books operative for 2 minutes, and somebody got the ticket. The new law takes effect during one of the year's busiest travel periods because, of course, the 4th of July weekend was what was immediately thereafter. And Orlando tops the list of domestic destinations. The Florida Department of Transportation has increased staffing and activated road ranger safety patrols to handle the volume and respond to incidents quickly. Now, the Florida Department of Transportation is activating its safety patrol, assisting stranded drivers and working to clear crashes quickly to prevent backups. I heard a story, I read it last night, about a guy in his 70s who saw a turtle crossing the road and stopped his car and went out to try to help the turtle. And a car slowing down or swerving to avoid him wound up starting a chain reaction. And the man saving the turtle did not make it. And it caused a backup and stopped traffic for 4 hours because of the fact that it was a fatality that had to be investigated. And so you do need to use your judgment on things like that. With Central Florida being the number one travel destination for the 4th of July, we are upping our staffing and ensuring our road ranger team are ready and willing to assist, said the road ranger manager. I've seen a lot over the years, and safety's always been at the heart of everything that FDOT does right. We want everybody to get home safely, says the safety administrator. But really in the last 4 to 5 years, we have this new focus on safety called Target Zero. And that's a goal of 0 fatalities and 0 injuries on our roadways. With Florida's new super speeder law now in effect, the Florida Highway Patrol is cracking down on drivers going 50 plus over the limit. If you're doing 50 over the limit or 100 or more, you could face 30 days in jail and a $500 fine, or both. Second time, 90 days and $1,000, or both. Troopers will be on high alert all weekend, watching for reckless, impaired, and distracted drivers. The message, of course, is buckle up, slow down, and don't drive under the influence. And so what you can do, officials urge you, heading to beaches or fireworks shows or backyard barbecues, to allow extra time and avoid aggressive driving. You know, telling people to avoid aggressive driving probably isn't really going to do a whole lot, because some of those aggressive drivers are just aggressive all the time. They're probably raging in their own kitchens. You'll get there when you get there. Make smart choices so the holiday ends with good memories, not tragedy. So it's word to the wise. But I know that, like I said, other states have got rules that say so much over is automatically reckless. And famously, there's a couple states, I think Virginia is one of them. And if I'm wrong on that, I apologize. But there are a couple states where not only is it reckless, but it is accompanied by jail time. And Patrick George, who was the longtime editor of Jalopnik, wrote an article once about his time passing through a state, and he's passing through a bit too fast, and got pulled over and jailed, and had to go through some process there, legal process. And now, Jalopnik being what it is, and that is it's a site where they write about cars, because I used to write for them, and they are not the old school car and driver where some guys writing stories while wearing driving gloves. He posted some articles where he said, basically I'm sitting in jail right now. Or I was sitting in jail yesterday, and talked about his experience. And, that's the scary thing, is that many people spend most of their time in one state. And I know people who lived in mid-Michigan their entire lives and have only gone outside the state a couple times, And, of course, I'm currently wearing an Ohio State shirt, which I'll do in the off season. And, Ohio is just across the border. Now, I know how you get treated by Michigan State troopers and by local police. And I've been practicing law in Michigan for 34 years, but I've been driving here a lot longer. But even in Ohio, I'd say all bets are off. I don't know. I don't study the laws in other states. And quite frankly, I go into or across or through Ohio probably once a year or so. And what about Wisconsin, Minnesota, or other neighboring states? Heaven forbid, Ontario. I was in Canada just a week ago. And again, so I tend to drive very carefully in other states. But of course, if you're driving cross country or you're going to a vacation destination, you might be driving through a bunch of states you've never been to before. And of course, something like this might catch you by surprise. So heads up if you're going to Florida or if you're already in Florida, and understand that 50 over or 100 will get you busted under the new super speeder law. And that can involve jail time. And one thing I have to tell you as an attorney is attorneys like to warn you about things. We're the paranoids that you hire because we can warn you about stuff that somewhere down the road could happen to you. And somewhere along the line, someone could ask you, have you ever been jailed? And when you say, yes, I was jailed one 4th of July weekend in Florida. Oh, what was that for? And now, of course, people are picturing you staggering around in Fort Lauderdale drunk on the beach, fighting with some police officers. You say, oh, I was doing 31 over in a 70, and they put me in jail. Yeah, right. Sure they did. No, they did, really, seriously. And so it's just one of those things. Being in jail is not pleasant, but being on your permanent record is another thing altogether, so you got to be careful. But Fox 35 ran the story. Orlando, Florida is from where it occurred. 104 mile per hour super speeder arrested just 2 minutes after a new Florida law went into effect where you can be jailed for driving over the limit by too much. Questions or comments, put them below those. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. If you're going to tell me stuff that we can't write down, it must not be true. #don't mess with Lehto.